So branding for a startup does not necessarily cost a bomb. The question most times we are asked is, there's so little resources, so little time, and so many things to do. Should I build a product or should I build a brand? Now, firstly, building a brand for a startup need not necessarily cost top dollars. In fact, you can do it without spending a single dollar, but you have to spend time and energy. So your cost will come more in terms of time and energy. But there are systems and processes to make it a lot smoother and easier and will not take away the farm with it. So let's look at that. Brand actually is, for a pre-revenue, short, small startup that's just just getting its act together. Most of the times, the brand is nothing but the value system that's represented by the founding team. So as a founding team or a single founder company, if you've not already concretized what value systems you stand for, you're probably living it, but you're not yet taken the time to put it on paper and formalize it. I recommend that you do that. If you're a founding team, get together, spend some time to actually, discuss and come up with a very simple, fundamental founding value system that all of you represent. It should be something that is non-compromising. By that, I don't necessarily mean logos and colors and that stuff. It is, what do you stand for? What is the non-compromising DNA strand that you really stand for? What is it that you would, give up your life for, but fight to sustain that? That becomes your brand, and that is really what you believe in, that eventually manifests itself into the product and into the company that you're building. And it becomes the guiding rail line along which invariably your startup goes through, ups and downs during the course of your product life cycle and your organization. But these principles will actually hold you in good stead and then keep correcting you back and putting you on track. So therefore, it's very important. If you've not already done that, I urge you to do that now, at the earliest, so that you can develop that quickly. And this part is not something you can outsource to a brand agency, because of course you can get some help, but this is something that's very personal, intimate to you. You need to come up with that and define that yourselves. So that's very, very close to your heart. So that's number one. And then number two is you need to develop a set of core messages which you will invariably share with your customers, your employees, your investors, and so on. It's very important. And, spend some time to do that, and then articulate it nicely in some phrases and put it together. And then publicly share that with your employees, with your, in the hiring process, with your investors, and so on when the time is right. Because the more you articulate this, the more people will start believing you. The more it silently, subconsciously lays a fabric which will bind all of you and your ecosystem partners together. And this is what you put up on a plaque in your office or share as a part of your brand curriculum, and then that it becomes a very sacred underpinning for you. Number one, this is number two, right? And then the third one, and very important again, is distribution. Which is probably a lot more easier today than it was even 3-4 years ago, because sharing of this and then distributing it in the form of messages is a lot easier today, whether it's audio, video, there are several tools and all of them are free: Instagram, YouTube, podcasting, and so on. So in various methods, you could actually use a Substack newsletter, you could use a Medium, a blog post every week. You could do a LinkedIn post every third day. You could do a Twitter thread every day. And you can share your business stories, your successes, your application cases, your view of what the industry is going to be 2 years from now, 3 years from now, where this technology is going, stuff like that. I see a lot of young CEOs are very shy, not necessarily young, even older CEOs are very shy about going out there and sharing your thoughts. Don't do that. I think you need to actually start doing this at the earliest, because A, that's the way you differentiate yourself. B, you're telling the world that this is what you are, and this is one thing that cannot be replaced. It is you, and it's exclusively you. So that is actually your brand. So you need to actually go out there and do that as much as possible. So I think these are some of the key underpinnings of how branding for a startup eventually becomes your strong differentiator. Don't forget, the world's top brands were not built overnight. It happened over time. Apple, for example, or Sony, or even Nike for that matter. But at some point, someday, 20, 30 years ago, they were just nothing more than a thought or an idea. And somebody believed it and then stuck to it and then built it brick by brick over time. So my best wishes to you along the way. And to summarize again, number one, create the brand as a proposition, your value system. Number two is create the core messages. Number three is do not hesitate or be shy in distributing as widely as possible. In any of your startup branding exercises and so on, if you need assistance, feel free to ping me and follow this channel for this and many more inputs. This is from Tonse Telecom. Take care. Good day. Bye-bye.